It's really attractive to hear this kind of truth-telling that you talk about and like really getting to the bottom of it. But then there's the idea that truth is relative, Rashomon,
Right.
like, well, whose point of view is it? And truthfully, I've had experiences in my life where I thought something was true and had a very strong point of view on it, and then later found out through, triangulation, right, through other people, like maybe different versions of it. So where does, and half of us are just clueless all the time, most of us probably, I don't know, maybe 100%.
Sure.
Where, are we living self-deception? So to say I'm putting the truth down or I'm trying to tell my story truthfully, how do you reconcile that? Like knowing, do you write knowing that some of it is, your fallacy of what your truth is?
Absolutely, yeah. The truth I'm talking about is emotional truth. I'm not talking about empirical truth. A memoirist writes the experience, their experience as they have felt it. So it's about releasing that truth. It's about expressing that, not about necessarily getting down the rational, black and white, linear truth forevermore. Do you understand? It's about the emotional truth. And emotional truth isn't rational, which is why writing is interesting. Because the things, when you look at how you feel on paper, you're sometimes shocked. Because it doesn't make sense to your mind. But it makes a lot of sense to your heart. Or your gut.
And just to follow up on that, where do you, do you have to summon courage? Or, when you have to write something that is really ugly about yourself? Not like, oh, I did this dumb thing, I was addicted or whatever, but like where your motives were bad or where you just didn't feel great about it. How do you go from not wanting to reveal that and, not having revealed it most of your life to revealing it?
It's the difference between suffering, holding on to something that hurts you, and being free. It's the impulse to be free of shame, of secrets, of quandaries and questions. It's really about, it's a release, it's a relief to let go of these things. It's not the vulnerability is exhilarating, because in the same way that when you're cracked open, that's an exhilarating moment. When you're in love for the first time and someone's looking at you and they can see you, it's terrifying and you wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world. And that's exactly what it's like to write when you're going for it, when you're really not playing it safe. It's a very enlivening experience. It's not hard labor. Writing is hard and it takes forever. But the doing of it emotionally that you're talking is not hard labor. And if it is hard labor, it's because you're not telling the truth. It's because in some way you're evading the truth. And I see that with students, sometimes people who are writing their stories and they get stuck, and it's because there's some place they don't want to go. People have this idea that when fear comes up, you should avoid it. That's what we do, survival-wise, in our lives. In writing, it's just the opposite. When fear comes up, it means you're approaching something that wants to be released. But your ego is in rebellion. Your self-image is in rebellion. It's dangerous to go there. That's exactly when you should keep moving forward. Sure.
It's me again. Could you please be the